Welcome, everybody. So my name is Beth Brannan, and it's a pleasure to be hosting today's training call all the way from the wet and cold and windy UK. I will try my hardest to slow down my talking because I know that a lot of people find the British language a little bit hard to understand. But oh my gosh, I am super excited to be hosting today. It's a really busy month with the Black Friday deals going on. I hope you are all crushing it. I said to John, what? You're asking me to host this call in the busiest time of the month. But it's an absolute pleasure to be doing this today. So before I go and introduce quite a few incredible speakers today, I'm going to give you a little bit about me and how I ended up in Modere. So first and foremost, I'm a mum to 3 little girls. I'm a wife, and I obviously live in the UK, smack bang in the middle in the Midlands. I've been in the online industry now for 13 years. I'm 9 years full-time. I'm a salon owner, trade owner, and a hair, beauty, and aesthetics practitioner. So I did that for years and years prior to coming into the network marketing industry. Started to sell products, started to see the industry, and how much money I could be making from my home whilst being with my little girls and seeing them grow up. So coming into the network marketing industry, I know a lot of people come into this for many different reasons. But for me personally, it was slightly different. My background is, it's quite a tricky one, and I'll kind of cover that just a little bit so that I can kind of inspire and motivate people that are coming into this with absolutely no experience. If you feel a little bit stuck, you're not quite sure what you're doing, you start to have that self-imposter syndrome of, oh my gosh, can I be doing this? I've never run a business like this before. That was absolutely me. So when I started this journey, I actually got introduced to the business via a friend. This wasn't Modere. I've only been within Modere for the last 2 years, but I'll cover that in a second. I actually lost my mum. So my mum passed away when I was 16 years old, and my life turned upside down quite quickly. I went into like a little cocoon. I ended up in a really dark place. And somebody had said to me, Beth, you seriously need to sort yourself out. You're going to end up, going down the wrong roads. You need to fix up and kind of find something that you're passionate about to come back out of yourself. I was the biggest introverted person ever. I didn't want to speak to anybody. I didn't want to see anybody. I seriously didn't have any kind of business mindset at that time. I just needed to focus on survival, really. So I got involved with the industry, started out, was in and out for quite a while, really understanding how to be working online because it was completely different to anything that I'd ever done before. But cutting a long story short, I faced some huge hurdles and failures. I'd had to learn to love myself, talk to people, deal with my own grief, and to be brave and find a passion, be vulnerable and honest, and do things, if I'm being completely honest, that scared me absolutely to death. Being online wasn't something that I'd ever really experienced. I didn't even have social media at the time. But by the time I turned 23, I turned my whole life around. I went from being, like I said, a massive introvert to a complete other side, which is now the extrovert with the big mouth, talking constantly all over social media, no fear. And by the time I'd hit 23, I actually turned my life into a 6-figure success. And by the time I turned 27, I actually hit 7 figures. So for me, starting out completely brand new, not having a clue what I was doing, saw the massive income opportunity being online. I'm not quite sure, and I can't speak for America and all the other places around the world, but over here in the UK, all high street shops had closed. Everything moved to online and digital and AI and all that kind of thing. So for me, it was one of the biggest, scariest decisions I've ever made. My family thought I was absolutely stir crazy. However, I made it. We managed to move abroad. I retired my husband, and it's been honestly the best decision I've ever made. Within that time, I could write a book. So I had to raise my babies on my own. I was managing all different kind of things behind the scenes. You name it, it happened. But I'm here. And I actually found Modere nearly 2 years ago, which is absolutely crazy because it feels like I've been in this business now for a few weeks. It's flown by, and I have absolutely loved every single second. So many people say to me, why did you leave a 7-figure business? Like, are you crazy? What happened? And you know what? I started to fall out of love with the network marketing industry. I knew that it could, do everything that it's done for me. However, I saw the good, the bad, and the ugly. A lot of changes in my previous company. I lost trust and loyalty for me is absolutely everything. So I was actually a few years ago going to turn back round to my trade, which is aesthetics, and I was going to open another clinic. And whilst I was in the process of doing that, I actually found Modaire's products. And I share this story a lot because anybody that's in the skin field will understand me when I say these products can help so many people. And it wasn't actually something that I was going to come into to sell and to build a team. I mean, we hit elite within 6 months. It was never supposed to have been like that. It was going to be me having products in the salon, in the clinic, for me to use on clients and to promote to clients. However, obviously, that didn't happen. I ended up building an incredible business with the most insane team all over the world. And now we're here building. We've got so much going on. We're literally on fire right now. It's literally UK, European market is firmly on the map. And we've got so much going on. So for me, I'm going to share a few quick tips, and then I'm going to hand over to our first speaker. So many people say to me, well, what do you do? How do you get your business to where it is? And I think there's a few things that you guys need to make sure that you're firmly rooted on. And the number one thing that I would say is to definitely define your niche market. Really identify who your target audience is and tailor your products and services to meet their needs. So what I mean by that is when I came into this, because we have such a huge variety of products, I wanted to kind of pull out a few products that mattered to me, that I was going to be using, that I would be confident in sharing my results when it came to the difference that it had made within my skin and my hair and all these different things. So I pulled out a few products and I ran with those. I don't believe that you can run with over 150 products in one go. It's going to completely overwhelm you. So figure out the products that you want to lead with, learn them, and create an audience based on around that. Stick to a DMO. I'm a mom. I've got 3 girls. One's 13. Don't I know it? If anybody else has got a teenage girl on here, you'll feel me. It's hard work and it's a job inside itself. I've got a 9-year-old and a 5-year-old that is complete sass pants, right? She's crazy. She's like a 13-year-old in a 5-year-old body. So I'm constantly busy running around after school clubs, and I've got to learn how to manage my time and fit in my business, but be consistent with it. So I plan out and stick to a DMO. So I'll use similar channels, so TikTok for sales, Facebook being my primary kind of platform. It's where I've built my audience, where I've been completely authentic and really built and shared my story openly and honestly. So that brings me on to that, being authentic. Share your genuine journey, your challenges, your successes. Authenticity, it resonates with people and it builds that trust. So I know it's quite scary for a lot of people that come into this and they're like, I don't want to post on social media. Social media can build you a 7-figure business. You just have to make sure that you're using it right. Engage with transparency, so be open, be open about your mission, share behind the scenes, and make sure that you're building those connections with people. And one of the biggest things that I do, guys, is I use my stories to do that. So I'm constantly asking questions, doing polls, sharing my journey, using products. And I start to use the people that are following me and viewing my stories, and I start building relationships with them. And then obviously provide value consistently. So whatever your niche market is, whatever your audience is, make sure that you're thinking about marketing to those people. What is the solution to their problem, right? Focus on helping others. Talk to people, ask them questions, and then naturally you'll start to come into what it is that we have to offer. And honestly, I use tools to help me do that. I don't sit here and think about post. I use ChatGPT. It helps me run my business. It helps me come up with keywords and hashtags for my business. I will ask it to write me a little statuses regarding the niche market that I'm wanting to attract. I'll ask it for captions and hooks and call to actions for my reels. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I think this is one of my biggest tips for people. People buy people. If you're on social media and you're being yourself and you're recommending a product that you love, that you have the research for, you will sell. And when you sell, you'll earn. And when you earn, you're going to get completely obsessed, just like I did. with zero knowledge and absolutely zero effort at the time for me to even think about building a business. It just naturally happened. So start figuring out what works for you and then just get better at it. So I say to everybody, come in, find what works for you. There's no right or wrong way here. But the one thing that I will say with Modare is it changed everything for me. It really gave me that clarity. It brought back my love for the industry. And to say that over the next few years, you're going to see a lot of me, you're going to see a lot of my team. We are literally going to be out there until we get right to the top. So with that being said, I'm going to introduce our first speaker. His name is David Ciemny. He's an E3, which is crazy. He definitely should have been hosting this call. I'm just going to put that out there. And he's also a P3, so built an absolutely phenomenal business. So, David, are you there?
Hello, Beth. Cheers.
Hello. Are you okay?
I'm doing so fine, and I'm like over the moon to be on this call today.
Woohoo! Okay, David, would you mind sharing a little bit about you and your story?
Okay. Like I said, I just want to pop on here and say, all you've got to do is just post on social media and you'll get rich. I'm kidding.
Woo!
I just had to do a British accent because yours is so amazing. How'd I do, Beth?
Amazing. That was perfect.
Good. I love it. Thank you. We could just listen to you talk for hours. So, yes, you are the right person to host this call. And your story was so inspiring. You know, it's stories like this that we need to all latch onto and be storytellers and tell, you know, Beth's story. Get off the phone and say, I just talked to a great, incredible girl in the UK. And you know, she was, you know, by 27, she's crushing it and, like, went through these ups and downs. It's like these are the stories that make this business, you know, worthwhile and give people just need a little encouragement, you know. So I'm so excited to be here today. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you so much. So you've built an incredible business at E3, which is absolutely amazing and inspiring in itself. So if you were to give people tips, what tips would you give when it comes to team building?
Okay, well, team building, you know, I always, the first thing I start with, guys, is like energy is everything. There's so many wishy-washy people out there. Look, if I have permission to keep it real, let me just say this. The world is pretty messed up right now. Let's be real. Like, I don't really know anyone, you know, other than maybe the Meltons and those Aleckis or something that are just walking around saying, everything's amazing. You know, it's like you just look around and people are doing, it's like there's a pole reversal. You know, I learned in science class in high school. It's like, well, every, like, 20 million years, the poles reverse and the North Pole becomes the South Pole. People are out there confused. They don't know what to do. They've got fear, including, by the way, probably you, some of you on this call, or maybe some people on your team. And because there's fear and desperation, this is an emotional business. Remember, 50% of people are hardwired to be entrepreneurs. The other 50%, they need to be followers. They need to be led. And they need to be led by confident people. So your energy, your posture is everything. And you know, so when it comes to like just leading a team, yes, be yourself, be transparent, be all those things, but more than anything, be excited, be passionate about what you do. Nobody wants to follow a wishy-washy person through a journey that's going to be up and down. You know, one of my mentors, Art Jonak, said, volume goes up, volume goes down. Builders keep building, right? It's cyclical. Any business has ups, has downs. And as Jim Rohn famously said, you got to discipline your disappointments. And for me, I go from one victory to another. I don't go from one disappointment to another because I look through a different lens than most people. And so most people are looking through the lens of scarcity. It's like, what's wrong here? What's wrong with the company? What's wrong with the comp plan? What are they doing wrong? They're just expecting something to go wrong. And as you know, what you look for, you will find. And so if you're looking for those things in the team, oh, I know she's going to say no, and I just know this person's not going to join. Here's all the reasons why not. When you learn to shift into abundance mode, into solution mode, into the mode of abundance, of possibility, and I know this sounds super like super like personal development and you know, fluffy. I always like to keep it real, Beth. It's like
Yeah.
It's like, but the reality is you have to consciously train your brain. I work with Dr. Shad Helmstetter. He's a good friend. He actually takes BioCell, which is cool. But he's the author of Negative Self-Talk and How to Change It. And he actually priced that book as like a $4 or $5 book. So I don't have a link. I don't make a penny for recommending it, but it changed my life. And that book is called Negative Self-Talk and How to Change It. And it's like a 60-minute read. But Dr. Shad really taught me that we have the power to change our brain, our synapses. And this journey, we know it's not going to be easy. But you know what? Let's be real. Most work is not fun. There's not a lot of – you either have like two types of people, okay? Type 1, they're going to work at the title company for 35 years and retire with a little plaque, right? That's their comfort. They're green, they're yellow, they're the cautious, they're not entrepreneurs. They love, the routine, and they know they have to work, right? And that, or you have the other type of person who's like always running around to a different job because they get bored and they're just like ADD. You've got to go out there into the world as a leader, as a builder in this industry, and let people know that like there's a place for everybody here. You've got to meet people where they're at. You've got to be able to be confident and know that this is going to work. And you're over here like, well, I don't know if it's going to work for me. It's like, I don't know if it's going to work. That's because it's a 5-year career. But let me ask you something. If you were to work for 40 years, my grandma worked for 40 years for the telephone company. It was called Bell, named after Alexander Graham Bell, who invented the telephone. But it was named Bell, and then it became like AT&T or something. I don't remember how it all went. She worked 40 years for the phone company. I used to go to her house as a little kid because she had free international calling anywhere in the world, and I'd call like random countries. Like I'd find the country code and I'd call and just like to get a kick out of it. And like that was her life. And as I've gotten older, I look back on her life, and it worked for her. But it was the most boring life I could ever imagine doing, going to the same four walls for 40 years, listen to the same person on the other side of the cubicle sneeze all weird. Like, ooh, no, that's my definition of literal hell. And so my grandma retired, and guess what she didn't do? She didn't do all the things that she ever wanted to do when she was young. She was in her 20s and 30s. She wanted to stand on the Eiffel Tower. She wanted to take trips. And guess what? She gave up all those dreams. She gave up everything. All she had was her trips to the coffee shop, and twice a year they drive to the casino, and then her family, and that made her happy. But then she died. And I look back on her life with love. I look back on the moments where we'd watch hummingbirds in her yard, and I treasure those moments. But I feel bad that my grandma, this is a different grandma. Those of you that heard my Digging for Diamonds, this is my other grandma, guys. This isn't my Grandma Reen who inspired me. This is my other grandma. Some of you guys have heard my Digging for Diamonds speech. Anyway, but guys, we're not meant to live a life that's not with some kind of purpose. And so I believe our job is to find that purpose in other people and get them excited about that purpose and put them on a pathway for that purpose. And when we do that, we'll be a true leader without an agenda. My only agenda as a leader is literally to help somebody else get where they want to go, find their why, find their passion. And Modare is the vehicle. It's not going to be overnight. But if I can help them discipline those daily disappointments, the ups and downs, and get them to see a 3 or a 5-year career, well, first we start with a 1, like 90 days. Like some people just bounce after a week. But like if we can just get them here for a year, be here a year from now. Darren Hardy said, what's the first thing you do with somebody? Get them to be here a year from now. Get them to the event. And then once you get them here for a year, let's keep them here for 3 years, and then 5. And by the time they get to 5 years, guys, you're going to be so much better. Look at where you were. Those of you that have been here 5 years or more, look at where you were, 3-4 years ago. I didn't even know what Facebook, I signed up for Facebook in 2008. I was like, what's that? You should have seen my post from 2008. It's like, so if we can just like look at the little victories we've had over time and get people to have a longer term vision, then not only will our business be stable, but the people that we're with, they'll be more loyal, they'll appreciate you more, but they'll also learn from all the incredible great leaders and culture that we have, I don't make a dime for being on this call this morning, like waking up early in California. You know what I'm saying? I'm here because I love the people on this call. I love the people in this company, and that's the culture that we have here, and it's rare to find, by the way. Beth, I hope that answers your question in a shorter amount of time than I would normally take.
Yeah, no, I'm not jealous at all that you're living in California. I mean, I would swap places for the British accent any day. So if you're up for that, then I'm game.
Okay, it's raining here, though, mind you.
Oh, well, it'll be warmer rain than it is in the UK. But do you know what you've just said? Energy. Energy for me is everything. I think when people see someone excited about what they're doing, they get FOMO, don't they? They're like, oh, my gosh, what are you doing? How do I get involved? So I run all of my business primarily on that energy and making sure that I show up on social media excited about where I'm going and what I'm doing. So do you kind of go live? Are you kind of doing all of that on social media, or are you kind of doing it more offline?
That's such a great question, Beth. And my thing is this. Obviously, social media, there's never been a better networking tool on literal planet Earth than social media. I mean, I did my first video because I didn't know how to go live, and then I think I heard the Meltons talk like back in 2017, and they're like, just make videos, embrace the suck, and I'm like, that's kind of harsh. Like, I don't want to go out there and suck, but I did. I took all these notes. I did a video called Facebook for Dummies. There's probably a book called that, but I just did my own live, and I got 1,500 views, and I just thought to myself, okay, 1,500 individuals put their eyeballs on what I was saying at this moment in time, and I thought, oh my gosh, could you imagine how long it would take me to run around buying lunches and dinners for people that never even told me thank you, trying to get people to come to meetings and do parties and do all this stuff in person, to see 1,500 new eyeballs. So, yes, I build offline. Everywhere I go, I build offline. Everywhere I go, I'm talking to people. I'm building relationships. I'm asking better questions. But online, it's been a work in progress. In fact, as we speak, I'm developing my real skills within the platform because I finally got Meta's attention, and they gave me a personal VIP coordinator that works for Meta, and they call me every 3 months to keep me on track. I'm like, dude, do I pay for this? I'm like, how is this happening? So it's like I'm finally I feel like I finally pushed through this sort of threshold where I'm able to get some engagement now, and I'm able to have a bigger platform. But it's taken me years of just being consistent on the platform. So again, you're back to consistency, you're back to energy. And so to answer your question, I use the tool. Most people have this business, right? This business is like a Ferrari, and it sits in the garage, and people they'll open the door to the garage, and they'll look into the garage, and they'll be like, wow, that's a nice Ferrari. But very few people even get inside the car, right? And then let alone there's even fewer people that will open the garage door. And then there's even fewer people that will start it up. And then there's even fewer people that will back it out and go onto the street. And then there's even fewer people, maybe 3 to 5% of everybody that joins, that will actually freaking take it on the freeway and go drive that sucker. Go fast. You know what I'm saying? So we just have to look we're just looking for people. It's we have to go out there in this business. We have to look for the right people and work with the right people. And we're constantly just looking for people. I call it digging for diamonds. We're out there in a field. We know there's diamonds there. We just got to go out there and find them. They're there. But it's if somebody told you have to talk to 100 people before you find your diamond, what would you say? You'd be like, okay, well, most people will dig for 5 or 10. They'll be there. It's no, it's there. You gotta go for 100 days. Most people just wouldn't do it. So we're a different kind of breed, entrepreneurs. So I just think using social media is the smartest thing you can do, and leverage it as a tool. And with that, Beth, there are so many awesome people that we're going to hear from today, and so many inspiring stories. I don't want to monopolize any other time. I just want to thank everybody for being here, especially the people on my team that I invited here today. We are all one team, one Modere, and just know that this company has our back. They started Black Friday a week before everybody else so we could get all those sales. So many of you guys are having the biggest month of the year. Times are incredible, and it's times like these where I thank God for Modere. They have our back, and I'm so excited about next year and everything that's to come. Thank you guys so much for having me. Love and appreciate every one of you. Thank you, Beth. You're doing great.
Thank you so much, David. Even I've taken so many notes. I absolutely love that. So amazing. So the next speaker that I'm going to be introducing to you is Coach Brian. He has 27 years of experience in the online field. So, guys, I'm so ready for this. Brian, are you there?
I am here, Beth. Thank you so much. Wow. We probably could hang up and we'd get our money's worth and be able to walk away and apply some things that could really move the needle forward. First of all, it's a great honor. I don't take this opportunity to speak to people and be able to somehow maybe share one or two things that might make a difference for someone. I don't take that lightly. What's interesting about me, Beth, is my background is a little bit different. I had a traditional business. On the outside looking in, most people would say, hey, Brian was doing well. He was making good money, but what they didn't realize is that my life was an absolute train wreck. I was working 70 hours a week, literally coming home, looking in the mirror and wondering how I had become such a failure as a dad, as a husband. And it was tough times. But I'll tell you, like a lot of people, I kind of felt trapped because I was chasing the money. I had a business. And I was just trying to kind of get by and do what I could to make it happen. And was successful in that small little piece. But as I mentioned, I was a really miserable individual because I was unfulfilled. I was in a situation where I had no ability whatsoever to pursue my passions. You heard people talk about purpose on this call. I mean, that was a foreign concept to me because I couldn't even imagine being able to discover my purpose. And, I was introduced to this industry at a time in my life where, like I said, things were pretty low. And what's wild is I looked at it, and for the first moment, Beth, I felt like the door had cracked open a little bit, and there was a little bit of light there, and it was hope. I had some hope that was brought into my life where I could possibly have the money, the time to be able to pursue my passion because, I'd grown up around athletics. I had a passion for young people, and in my depths of my heart, I wanted to coach, and I couldn't before I found this industry. And so that really drove me. And I got in with both feet and went nuts, learned everything I possibly could, and it was that driving force to be able, and here's a tip, you might want to jot this down, once you find out what it is you really want to do, your business will become a means to an end. If your business is the end, there's a problem. Your business should be a means to an end. It should empower you to do what you really want to do to impact people or whatever it is that you need to do. And for me, it was to be able to make a difference in the lives of young athletes. And now, fast forward, I can't tell you how grateful I am. I have the ability to coach high school varsity basketball. Matter of fact, this weekend, a cornerstone of our program is I take the team on a retreat. We rent a big chalet in the mountains, and I feed them like kings, and that's actually where I am right now. My assistant coach is watching the boys, so don't worry. We're having a great time, and I'll tell you, I have two beautiful daughters. I have a wife, and I drop my 12-year-old off at school. I pick her up, and, what's interesting, no dads are doing that. And I'm a dad that gets to do that because of this business. So, Beth, thank you so much for having me.
No, thank you so much. Your energy is infectious. I feel like I'm listening to Les Brown. So you did, wow, that's it. That's amazing. So just before you go, have you got 2 tips that you would share with people about how to manage a business around a business?
I do, and I promise I'm going to give you 3, Beth, and I'm going to make them quick.
Okay.
The 3 things that I would want you to make sure you get, in addition to what's been shared and what's going to be shared, is number 1, know where you're headed. Focus there. Understand where you're headed. In other words, what is it that you want? For me, I wanted to be there for my family. I wanted the time and the money. I wanted to coach young athletes. That's where I was headed, and I kept my focus on that ball. In other words, what is it that you want? Number 2, know what you got a hold of. You heard a word called posture. I'm here to tell you, folks, understand that everything in our business, everything starts and finishes with postured conversation. It's a very different feel when I'm talking to somebody and they get the feeling, hey, if I say the wrong thing, Brian might hang up on me. Brian might ghost me. You see, there's a shift there. Why? Because I know what we got, folks. We got the best freaking business on the planet. And when I'm talking to somebody, they know I know what I got. And then the last thing is know that you're enough. Know that you are enough today, Saturday. Know that you're enough. Don't let yesterday affect today. If you'll focus on those 3 things, trust me, that needle will begin to move, and it certainly moved for me, Beth.
Yeah, amazing. I absolutely love that. Thank you so much, Brian, for jumping on.
Thank you, Beth.
No, thank you. So, yeah, again, guys, if you listen to the passion of these leaders, like, it inspires me. I feel like I want to go and run around. Like, all of this energy, you've got to make sure that when you come off calls like this, that you're implementing all of the things that people are sharing with you that has worked. So with that being said, I'm going to introduce another lady to the call. Her name is Loren Gordon. She's a team leader. She's still there. She's actually within my organization. She is the most beautiful, loving person, and she's building an incredible business right now. So, Loren, are you there?
Hey, Beth.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks, and you?
Good, I'm amazing. So, Loren, I want you to just share a little bit about your story and how you found Modere.
Well, it was back in 2016. I actually stumbled upon network marketing. I'd never heard of it before, didn't have a clue what I was doing initially. But, I was desperate at the time. My now late husband had been diagnosed with brain cancer when I was pregnant with our daughter. And I knew, being on maternity leave, I wasn't going to have a lot of money with him at home, him being on sick pay and me not getting much money in. And it just so happened that network marketing fell into my lap then. And I just took a chance. I thought, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to just trust what my mentor is telling me to do and just trust that this process and this business is going to work. So went in blind. So for anybody out there who's new to this and is thinking, can I do this? Yeah, you definitely can, because I did. And you just have to trust the process, be patient, be consistent. And, for me, it's given me so much. I mean, my husband died when my daughter Shelby was 7 months old. But network marketing gave me the extras around my teaching job. So when I then finished maternity leave, I went back to my teaching job, but I still continued with doing network marketing part-time, and it just gave me the extras, little things like, being able to take Shelby to a movie, or, now I managed to have my Wednesdays off, which is what I call my mental health day. It's my day where I can just build my Modere business and just, zone out from the world, so to speak. So for me, it's just given me so much. It's a vehicle that for anybody who's thinking, can I do it around other businesses or other jobs? Absolutely. And it was only in March that Modere actually fell into my lap. So I'm quite new in Modere, but I actually can't believe, Beth, that it's flying so quickly. It's really flying. But for me, I think it is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And, I have been consistent in what I post, how I post. Initially, it took me a while to find my niche because I was in awe of all the wonderful products that we've got. So I think I was trying to post about all the products, and in that sense, I didn't realize at the time I was failing because I then wasn't actually making an impact on anybody. Whereas now I've found my niche. My niche is the weight loss products as well as the collagen, and that is my focus. I found the groups that I've been posting in. They are the ones that I then am ATMing. So for anybody that hasn't been ATMing, John will tell you I've been ATMing like a beast the last couple of months, and it definitely is paying off. It's the following up. It's making sure that you are inviting people into those groups, making sure you're tagging them in something that they can relate to, whether it be weight loss or hair growth or skin clearing up, whatever it is. Show them what we have, because what we have is amazing. So the ATMing, that for me was like a little light bulb moment that only went off a month or two ago, but that really has pushed my business forward in the right sense. But also, I still share on my Facebook my ups and downs. I'm honest. I share my life. I share the grief. I share how I'm feeling. And I inspire people. I've got so many followers now that follow me and say things like, oh, I think you're amazing. Like, I could never do what you do. But the thing is, when you're a single mother and you're relying on one salary and you have no choice, you just do it. And you just find a way to make it work. And that's basically what I did. The key is to take the products yourself, be real, share your journey, but don't get overwhelmed. Just follow the system. It's as easy as that. Reach out to your mentor, follow the system, and it really is something that for some people might happen really quickly, but not for everybody. So it's okay if it takes you a little bit longer to get your first order or to get your first promotion, because as long as you are reaching out and you're talking to people and you're being proactive, how can it not happen? It will happen.
Yeah.
I think groups are key for me. I think anybody that is not in Facebook groups that are sort of their niche, that should be your focus. Get into those groups. Make sure you're showing up, making sure you're showing up your face in that group, commenting to people, and not spammy, just literally showing up because you're a good person, because you are a decent person, with no ulterior motive. And surprisingly, that's all people want. People just want other people that care and show them love. And that ultimately is what is going to it's not rocket science. It's simple. As long as you're putting in the hard work, it's not rocket science. It's just literally following a system, and that system will pay in the end.
Yeah. And I think the best thing, Loren, that we've found in our team, especially coming obviously from different companies, especially in the UK, is having that really simple plug-and-play system here. It makes a difference, doesn't it? Yeah,
I agree. I think, you don't want people to come in feeling overwhelmed. You want a simple system, and that's what I loved about coming into your team, Beth, was everything was there. What I needed was there. The trainings, the boards, oh my gosh, boards has changed my life. It's so easy to do. And then when I realized I could connect boards to my keyboard, I was like, oh my gosh, this is just amazing. And, it's just little things like that where technology really is incredible, and it just helps me quickly fire off a message in my, break when I'm between kids at school and things like that. It's just easy to get in touch with people. send them a quick voice note that you've got saved in your board makes such an impact.
Yeah, it does. It really, really does. So the last question that I'm going to ask you, Loren, is what are the plans now for you? Where are you going? Where are you heading? What's the goal?
Well, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying with Modé. No, I'm teasing. I know what you mean. For me, like I say, I'm silver at the moment. My goal is gold this month, and I know it's going to happen. So, as well as, you know, that's also the thing. You've got a dual compensation plan here, so you can build a team, but you don't have to, and you can still achieve, which is brilliant. For me, I want it all. So I'm building the team side as well as customers who are loving the products. I'm keeping in touch with them regularly and very hopeful that from me supporting them and for them seeing the results that they will then jump on and be able to earn some extra money themselves.
Amazing. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Loren, for jumping on. I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.
No, thank you. So, guys, honestly, like some of the things that people have said, it is about keeping it simple. There's no right or wrong way of doing it. Get plugged in. Ask for help. I always say to people, ask when you need it. People think that asking it's a failure, and it's not. Like, you're only going to learn by asking the questions of people that have already done it. And the systems that we have here, I have never seen them in the whole entire industry of 13 years. To have the uplines that we have here and the leadership, you know, David, Brian, Loren, all of these people have been in the industry for a long time, building incredible businesses. So I hope all of you have jotted down some notes. You're going to come away from this call and not just put your phone down and then go and sort the kids. Start implementing. Figure out what it is that you're going to take from this call today and you're going to start to use. We've got Black Friday going on at the minute. I hope all of you, I really want to say y'all. I think being on an American call makes me turn into an American, and I'm really not that. So honestly, guys, please, please, please make sure that you're getting involved, you're asking the questions, you're showing up, you're being consistent, you're leading with that energy, you're leading with that confidence. Get people asking questions. Like David said, it is an emotional business. It is a people's business. The more people you connect with, the more people are going to understand you as a person, the more people you're going to be able to help. And start living your life. Again, I picked up and I wrote that down today because that was one of my fears. My mum passed away at 40 years old. That is no age to pass. And I think for me, I've taken that as spinned it as to more of like a positive thing for me, that I don't want to leave this world not doing all of the things I want to go and do. And I use that as my motivation every single day. You have opportunity. You open your eyes every single morning. Don't waste it. So with that being said, remember, there's no right or wrong way of building a business. Stay consistent. Keep learning and growing. Thank you so much to everybody that's jumped on. David, Coach, and Loren, you were absolutely incredible. I've taken lots and lots of notes. I hope you guys have too. And with that being said, I'm going to love you and leave you. I'm going to crack on with my business, sort out all of my messages. UK Black Friday goes live on Monday, so I have so much work to be doing. I hope this has helped. I hope you've all understood my British strong accent. And thank you, everybody, for jumping on. Good evening.